listening to the Lama podcast. I'm Gunjan.
I'm Rajiv.
Rajiv, today I want to peel the onion and make everyone cry, or maybe both of us cry. The line is, which I came across: take care of your duties, and your rights will be taken care of. And when I said this, you were like, "This is the biggest lie ever."
Yeah, because which duties and which rights?
Yes, and if we look at the duties from the global perspective, like most of the countries, not across the globe, but most of the countries are basic uh, duties are obeying law, paying taxes, voting, elections, and then our fundamental rights are freedom of speech, freedom of expression. In India, voting right is a constitutional right. It's not a fundamental right. It comes in the category of constitutional right. And there are times where I feel that, my vote is keemti, my vote is important, but I don't think so I have any other right other than voting right, whatever is listed anywhere.
So, okay, so you're saying that what about right to speech? Right to property, right to, happiness. So this, see, the main thing is that it is not about, so, first of all, if it is my right, is it being given to me by somebody? Then how it can be my right?
Okay,
Does anybody give me right to breathe?
with freedom comes great responsibility is what they quote. However, and
Political,
I know
yeah,
of someone at a
that is, yes.
very great leadership role, and he quoted Hitler, and he said that yes, Hitler was right. He was fired. Another incident happened that someone said something about a politician, someone gave a like on it, and then they were put in jail.
Yeah, so then where is freedom of speech?
Yes, restricted. You have freedom, but it is restricted.
No, you see, then that is not right. See, the problem is that
Exactly my
most of the
point. That is
time,
not right.
yeah, and lot of times, okay, forget about, speaking against political, whatever, some big powers that be. Today, we curtail rights of other people in families, in societies, in corporate, everywhere. You think that you have freedom of speech, even if the constitution and the law and everybody gives you that.
No,
The
no,
cancel culture and all these social limits and all. No.
no.
So I don't think that there is. These are things that we tell ourselves to make ourselves happy, to make ourselves feel that we matter, that we are relevant.
And especially,
These are very fluid. These are not like something that is black and white.
yeah, there's a lot of gray area.
Yeah, if you look at the advertisements 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 60, 50 years ago, they will never pass the social acceptance as of today. But yeah, they were funny, they were good at that time. People would just press them, they would laugh at them, or because society at that time would take these things in a different context, in different perspective. Today, you can't even joke about anything. I remember. So the thing is that the rights, duties, expectations, obligations, all of these are very fluid. On one extreme, people assume that a right is an entitlement. That no, I have right to education. Right. So that means I should get it for free. I should be able to go walk into any university, college, or anything and get the degree of my choice and the grade of my choice. On the other hand, people would say that no, the right is a duty or an obligation, like a right to vote, that it's an obligation that you have to vote. And then, if you don't participate in this thing, building the nation, then all that. So these things are very fluid. And my pet peeve around all this is that you decide, if I have the right, let's say for XYZ, then I have the decision, do I want to exercise that right or not? Nobody else should be able to dictate that to me. I should not be shamed if I do not exercise or otherwise. But these narratives and these become very, very muddy, this thing. So I don't think that, whoever made the statement, whoever they made the quote, this thing, they were political or maybe some other, I would say, thought behind it. And now we are just repeating that quotation with like
knowing the actual
no
intent.
context, no nothing, and
Yes,
becomes a narrative.
coming to right to education, Rajiv. I was in the US, and yes, it's a right. They cannot deny the admission, but you have to be in that particular school district. Otherwise, they have a right to say no, that you do not belong to the school district. You cannot get admission in our school. And where, I mean, only
So then
school
what is the
districts
right?
are
So
only
yeah,
those
so
school districts are
then
good where there are taxpayers who pay very high level of taxes. If you look at
yes,
the conditions at school there, I have volunteered. I know the reality.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
used to work for a special school, and we were the fight that we fought for inclusive education. We said that each and every kid has right to go to school. You cannot deny the admission on the basis of disability. And we were also going to the government schools, Kendra Vidyalayas. And they said, "Oh, ma'am, you're doing an awesome job, but what you are doing comes under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. We are under Ministry of Education. So you need to get approval from Ministry of Education that, we can accept the kid with special needs." So yes, we have fought those battles, and we know how we can
Yeah, but then
twist
the
those.
question, then you're going back on the statement that we are talking about, right? Yeah, you do your duty and your rights will be taken care of. No, I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. That's the biggest lie ever.
Yes. So now the question is that how do we recognize and how do we stand for what is right and how do we choose to exercise our rights? I think the main thing that we need to focus on is that if I have this right, how do I exercise it to the best of my ability and my knowledge? Not because it is my duty, because this is something that I want to do. If I
Yes,
don't want to do it, then I don't do it.
right.
If I think that that my right to vote is being misused or my right to vote is not going to bear any fruit, then I also have the right not to vote. A right means that you have the right to exercise it or not exercise it. You have a right to happiness. You choose to be happy or you do not choose to be happy. Both should be acceptable.
How about freedom of speech, Rajiv? That I want to circle back on freedom to speech. That
Yeah, I don't think so it exists. It has never existed, and I don't think it exists, or it will never exist, I would say. There'll be very, very few handful of people who would speak what they want to speak or what, they exercise their freedom of speech. But 99.9999%, I don't think so. We think we do,
and
in
especially
very petty situations.
yeah, especially in a corporate setup. Oh, acha, I cannot say this. Oh, I cannot say this. Oh, I
Doesn't,
can't.
no, you tell me at home, forget about corporate. You tell me about, forget, you tell me how much truth do you speak to yourself? Why even go beyond that? This is the topic of our podcast, right?
Right.
So, so I don't think that we have freedom of speech. I don't think that we have freedom to do anything that we want to do, not in absolute terms. We exercise our freedom based on our convenience.
I don't think we even have right to expression. And this goes for husband community. Gussa aa jaye, then wife get even more annoyed that gussa kyun aa raha hai? Why are you feeling
Yeah,
agitated,
why?
irritated, or angry about this? So freedom of
Yeah,
speech is
yeah,
a different thing, but freedom of
yeah.
expression is also not getting exercised.
No,
And
anything.
yes,
See, it is, I'm saying that now duty, the same thing about duty. I personally don't think that duty is, or let me put it this way. Where you say it is your duty, it becomes an obligation and expectation.
but Rajiv, uh, prioritizing your daily duties, it does contribute towards your long-term self-actualization and realization.
What duty are you talking?
So we all carry this different persona, Rajiv. I can have a duty as a parent. I can have a duty as a model citizen. I can have a duty as a daughter, daughter-in-law. So we all carry a different persona, and we all carry those different duties and different personas.
Yeah, but the thing is that the duties are enforced on you by others.
Yes,
When you say my parental duty, there are things that as a parent you may want to do, you may not want to do. The question is that do you have the freedom to choose what kind of parent you want to be? I don't think so. Can you choose what kind of a daughter-in-law or mother or wife or worker you want to be? I don't think so.
you want to be A
See, the
star.
problem is that the term duty is a guise towards fulfilling other people's expectations. Now I come to you, hey Gunjan, as a co-host, it's your duty to do this, right? So I'm not asking you, I'm enforcing my expectation on you, and I'm saying, hey, this is your duty as a co-host. I have defined a box called co-host, and now I'm putting a label and saying, okay, now you have to do this. That becomes an obligation. I don't think that the duties or obligations and all these are simply frames that we create, or I would say, the wall prisons that we, or walled gardens we create, that we think they are very beautiful, but they are not. They're not gardens. Yes, if you say that I want to do this because I am a good mother or a good wife or a good husband, whatever the
Who's defining that?
parental or whatever role you want to
Yeah.
play, right? But that is your choice. That should be your choice. Then it becomes, the freedom of choosing,
No,
or
but then who
freedom of
defines
choice.
that for me? Who will define
You
that for
should.
me? That I'm
You should.
excellent, good, average, commensurate, whatever
No,
the
no.
levels of.
See, then it is not. Then you will never ask that question.
Exactly.
Then you will say that as a mother, I want to do this because for me, being a mother or a wife or a daughter-in-law or whatever role you define in family or in corporate or in as a citizen, if you believe that, hey, as a citizen, that I want to contribute to my country and make it clean or less corrupt or progressive or this or that, whatever, And then you do that, not because somebody else is expecting of you, it is simply that
Coming
you
from,
want to
yes,
do it,
yes,
right? So then all of that disappears. These terms that we throw at each other, like duty and rights and fundamental right versus this right and all
constitution.
that, these are more of, I think, either social or law. Tomorrow, for example, you obviously don't, you have the right to stab anybody or anything, right? But by law, you cannot. But if you're angry, mentally, I remember in one of the episode when we talked about that, you went to a beach in Bombay or something, and early morning and it was all littered or someplace, right? And the first thought that came to your mind was, okay, you want to
Eradicate
kill everybody.
humanity.
So now mentally you have already made that, violence, right? If let's say tomorrow a law comes and says, even if you're thinking of murdering somebody, you are a culpable homicide. So now the question becomes that, okay, as a model citizen, my duty is not to even think about violence. Forget about doing violence, not to even think about violence. Or as a good husband or a good wife, I should not even think about not fulfilling other person's expectations of me.
Yeah, in family setup, it's a kind of balance. And as I say, and I'll reiterate it, it's a very transactional world.
So that then everybody trades their duties, and then everybody trades their
It's a transactional
expectation, and
world.
that's it.
And I remember this coming from, I was working with an NGO, and Dr. Ravi Chopra, he told me that, and working with the NGO, you feel like, okay, you are doing such great work. Why will people say no to you? Why will people not listen to you? But that was not the reality. I got a reality check when I was there, and he said that, Kunjan, and I'll quote him. He said this in Hindi that uh, if you want someone to, it's a mix of Hindi English. If you want someone to do something for you, you have to give them some matlabi reason. They'll
Yeah,
not do anything for you just like
yeah,
that.
some selfish. Yeah. If there is
You have to give
no
them some
self-interest, then you
selfish
cannot.
reason.
Yeah, so that's these are you have to align the incentives, and then you can call it duty. You can call it whatever you want to say. I've like in corporate life, this talk about the duty towards your company versus this and that. And so that's why I think that these are, terms that are more for entrapment and slavery than actually of freedom.
It's a trap.
Yes, life is a trap,
Life
and
is a
we are the
trap.
mouse. Yes,
Yes, yes, yes.
yes.
Well, Rajiv, that was some food for thought, that when right becomes a duty and when obligation becomes an expectation. Closing comments from your side.
There's no specific closing comment, but it reminds me of, Robert A. Hanlon, one of my favorite authors.
Who said that insects
He
needs to be
had,
specialist?
hmm?
Who said that only insect needs to be specialist?
Yeah. He said many things,
Yes.
but another quote that, I think relates to this is that he also writes about, all these, the, politics, taxes and all that. So in one of his quote is that the power to tax, once conceded, has no limits. So it continues until it destroys. And that's what happens. If you look at, uh, pay your taxes, that's your duty.
Right.
And at one time, there was only maybe 2 or 3%. I am talking about US. The income tax was not more than maybe around, I think, 5% or something. And today, if you see how many taxes that we pay, like mind-boggling. So that's how the rights becomes, they become duty, they become obligation, then they become all that.
And people feel
This,
entitled. Yes.
circle continues. But yeah, this is, yeah, I think, it's an interesting topic.
Well, thank you so much for listening. Do visit our website, thelielama.com, THELIELLAMA.com. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you would like to come on our show. We'd be more than happy to host you. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.